Are you aware of the power of investing and how you can get your investments working for you? We're going to look at how you can take simple steps that will yield huge results for your financial future. The quicker you begin, the greater the results. I'm going to show you how, and it's going to blow your mind. I was just 17 when I started as an apprentice at my first job. I remember my mum saying to me, make sure you pay into a pension. The earlier you start, the better. What I didn't realise was why. Why couldn't I just start when I wanted to, maybe a few years later? I wanted to spend the money I'd earned. I didn't want to save it into a pension that I'm not going to receive for another 40, 50 years. The reason, as is so often the case, is that my mum was right. What I didn't know at the time, however, was that this was due to compound interest and how this can have an amazing impact over your investments on the long term. What I was oblivious to is that when you get a return from your investments and those returns are also reinvested, those reinvestments start to compound over time and start to grow. Think of a snowball rolling down a hill collecting more snow as it goes. That's exactly the same with your finances. Let me show you what I mean. If, for example, you save £500 a month into an investment such as pension or stocks and shares ISA, meaning that you've invested £6,000 after 1 year, we will use easy rates of return for this example of 10% interest per year. But to be honest, they aren't far off historical average stock market returns. So, assuming interest gets paid on the last day of the year when you paid your last payment, you have invested £6,000. But with interest on top, you now have £6,600 invested. Year 2, you save another £6,000. Add that to your original £6,600 and you now have £12,600. But again, add the interest of 10% and your total now sits at £13,860. In the third year, you save another £6,000 and your total before interest is now £19,860. Now the interest is really starting to grow and you will add another £1,986. In just 3 years, your interest returns are trebling. The longer you continue this, the steeper the returns become, as you can see. Obviously, real life isn't the same as this chart, and ups and downs will occur at all points along that journey, so you won't have perfect linear growth. But you get the gist. Now you understand the basics of compound interest, we're going to look at this a different way, and we're going to make a target for ourselves of saving £1 million. We will use 9% as a yearly growth percentage, which isn't too far off average stock market returns. And we're going to look at what you need to set aside in order to hit that number. To make things interesting, we're going to look at this by age of starting. If you start at 20 years old, you will need to save just £135 per month every month until you're 65, and you'll reach £1 million. If you start saving at 30 years old, you have 10 years less time to invest, and now you have to save £340 a month. At 40, the picture gets worse, unfortunately, and to hit the same target, you need to save a whopping £900 per month. At 50, this is almost impossible to reach your goal, as you need to save £2,650 every single month. This is the reason why you cannot afford to start investing too late. To further illustrate the importance of starting to invest as soon as possible, we're going to look at another example. Let's take two people. One person starts investing £250 a month at the age of 20. They invest every month for 10 years and then stop on their 30th birthday. With a rate of return of 9% that we used, the total investment would now be sitting at just over £48,000. If this person didn't invest a single penny more but left that investment to accumulate interest at the same rate for the next 35 years, taking them to the age of 65, that investment would be worth just over £1.1 million. Our second person does things slightly differently, a bit like how I was when I was younger, and decides to start on their 30th birthday. They too start putting away £250 a month, but continue to do it for the next 35 years, taking them to 65. In total, they have now been investing for 35 years, 3.5 times longer than our first example. So let's see what the returns are. Incredibly, their total now sits at a mere £735k. Not too bad, but certainly nowhere near the £1.1 million from starting to invest earlier and actually investing less money. I literally have no idea why these basic principles are not taught, explained and illustrated as part of the school curriculum, and why we place teaching drama, for example, as more important than basic finance. We are doing a huge disservice to the youth of today. Moving on from compound interest, we're going to look at some other benefits that you get from investing. The next one up is tax reductions. Tax reduction is a huge benefit of investing. The topic is so large, so today we're just going to focus on the benefits you can get from pensions or 401ks and from ISAs or Roth IRAs. Contributions made to a UK pension are eligible for tax relief, meaning the amount that you pay into your pension scheme is effectively increased by the amount of tax relief you receive. For basic rate taxpayers, this relief is 20%, so for every £80 you pay in, you receive £20 top up from the government. Higher rate taxpayers can claim additional relief through their tax return, or even better, if your company offers a salary sacrifice scheme, you don't even have to reclaim the tax, it's done for you. Just note that the current lifetime allowance for a UK pension is just under 1.1 million. If you make more payments than this, or your pension pot is higher than this at retirement, you'll pay additional tax. Once your money is invested in a pension, all interest, dividends, or capital gains are not taxable. Once you reach 57, you can withdraw up to 25% of your entire pension pot as a tax-free lump sum. The remaining balance can then be used as a drawdown, but will be taxed in the same way as earned income. If you choose to draw an income from your pension once you reach retirement age, you can withdraw up to $12,570 tax-free. It's a bit morbid, but if you die before the age of 75, your pension pot can be passed on to your beneficiaries completely free of tax. If you die after 75, tax will be chargeable by the beneficiaries, but at their marginal rate of tax. For those paying into a 401k in the US, the story is similar for the UK pension, and you'll also receive equally significant benefits. Contributions made to a 401k are made before tax contributions have been taken out of your paycheck. You can currently pay in up to $61,000 each year tax-free, or $67,500 if you're 50 and over, although please note that later on in 2023 these amounts are increasing. The same as for UK pensions, all growth in your 401k is tax deferred, meaning that you don't pay any tax on investment gains until you withdraw the funds. If you are on a low to moderate income, you may be eligible for Savers Credit. This can provide you a tax-free credit up to 50% of your contribution to a certain limit. Under certain circumstances such as hardship or being over the age of 59.5, you can start to withdraw down on your pension without incurring a 10% penalty fee. Payments into an ISA or a Roth IRA is not tax deductible, meaning that if the money is from earned income, you've already been taxed on that money and you cannot claim that back. However, there are a host of other benefits which we're going to run through. The tax benefits from investing into an ISA are pretty spectacular, and to add to that, there are a number of different ISA types available. All income earned from within an ISA wrapper is exempt from income tax, meaning you do not pay any tax on interest, dividend payments, or investment growth. However, just note that in the current tax year, there is a limit of paying in £20,000. If you pay more than that, you'll be subject to tax. In addition, all capital gains made within an ISA are exempt from capital gains tax, meaning that when you sell an investment, no tax is due on the capital gain you have made. ISA funds are also exempt from inheritance tax, meaning that they will not be included in your estate for inheritance tax purposes when you die. As with the UK ISA, all investments in a Roth IRA can grow and accumulate free of tax. Qualified withdrawals of earnings and contributions are also tax-free. There are also estate planning benefits, meaning that you can leave tax-free income to your beneficiaries after you die. I want to finish with an analogy which will show you how you can get your money working for you. I want you to imagine you're in the middle of the desert. Imagine that when you work, you get paid in water. The first problem you'll bump into will be, how do you store your water? The solution? Use a glass instead of your hands. The second problem though, the water will evaporate with time, right? To solve this, you'll need a water bottle with a cap to prevent evaporation. The next challenge will be to resolve long-term reserves. This seems like a simple solution. Get multiple water bottles and build up your store. The next problem you encounter, however, is that as you age and can no longer work, you will need to start consuming the contents of those water bottles. Your life expectancy in the desert will be determined by the number of water bottles you are able to accumulate during your work life. Some people in the desert may have accumulated enough to drink during their elder years, but some won't. So what is the ideal solution? Own a water well in the desert. So let's interpret this analogy in related to finance. Water equals money or cash. The water in a glass that evaporates is cash in a bank, devaluing over time due to inflation. The water in the bottle is assets that appreciate with inflation. They maintain their value over time. Some examples are commodities like oil, gold and silver. Accumulating water in the bottles is like savings in assets. Losing strength to work is retirement. And the water well is a cash flowing asset. Let's look at the lessons from the analogy. Money is only a mechanism of exchange that holds a temporary storage value. If you save cash, time will evaporate its current value. Certain assets can protect us from monetary volatility. Accumulating assets may not be enough to guarantee your retirement because you will need to liquidate them to pay for your needs. The water well represents cash flowing assets. Cash flowing assets produce passive income, meaning they produce cash even while you sleep, and you don't need to work for them as you already made the investment. Investing serves the purpose of protecting us when we can no longer work. That doesn't have to be at 65. It can be earlier if we can invest in cash flowing assets or own royalties that return money periodically. We must protect our money against external influence that will evaporate our hard work. I'll be sharing a video in the coming weeks on cash flowing assets and the huge advantages they can give you. If you enjoyed the video and the content, please hit the like button and also subscribe if you'd like to see more similar content focusing on personal finance. I really appreciate your time and thank you for watching. Goodbye.